Story begins not with lords or bishops, but with a baker. Around 1130, Cornelius of Derby dreamed that the Virgin Mary called him to a hidden valley called Depedale. Such a vision was not uncommon in medieval Christianity. Saints and hermits often claimed heavenly dreams as markers of vocation. But Cornelius's response was extraordinary. He abandoned his worldly life, followed whispered clues overheard on the road, and came upon a dale, half wild, half marsh, enclosed by sandstone cliffs. Here he cut a dwelling into the soft rock, shaping two chambers, one for prayer, the other for sleep and survival. The western chamber became his chapel, with niches for a cross and candles. The eastern served as his cell. Outside, square sockets carved high in the cliff suggest he built a lean-to shelter, perhaps for firewood, perhaps for animals. His water came from a spring nearby, later named the Hermit's Well. For nearly 20 years, the cave was his monastery. The sandstone, porous and damp, became flesh of his devotion. In living rock, he carved solitude. In solitude, he carved prayer. The hermitage thus became not only a place of dwelling, but threshold between human and the divine. The hermit's devotion did not go unnoticed. Maud de Salicosa-Mara, a noble woman of the district, heard of his life and was moved. Inspired by his example, she endowed a chapel in the valley floor. This act of patronage sanctified the hermit's presence. The cave was no longer merely one man's refuge. It had become the seed of a community. Here, the mythic thread tightens, a dream given to a baker, a cave hollowed into earth, a noble woman's offering, each step carrying the valley further from wilderness into sanctity. By 1204, the sacred beginning ripened into the full flowering of Dale Abbey. The Premonstratensians, or White Canons, took possession, dedicating their house to the Virgin Mary. Their Gothic church rose in splendor, its stained glass blazing, its bells echoing across the fields. Yet beneath the grandeur of their cloisters and the choir lay the humbler sanctity of the hermitage. The cave remained a reminder that the abbey's foundations were not laid by masons, but by faith. Its sandstone walls, damp with centuries, embody the moment when one man's obedience opened a path for centuries of prayer. The abbey was, in truth, built upon the hermitage, not just in stone, but in spirit. In 1538, Henry VIII's commissioners dissolved Dale Abbey. Its estates were seized, its church dismantled, its stones carted away to raise cottages. Only the east arch remained, vast and solitary, like a window through which heaven still touched the dale. But the hermitage endured. its walls softened by erosion, its outlines blurred, the cave nevertheless resisted erasure. While the abbey became ruin, the cave remained present, as if time itself chose to preserve the valley's first consecration ground. To enter the Hermitage today is to step into a liminal space. The cave lies between light and shadow, damp with earth's breath, yet carrying the stillness of centuries. In medieval imagination, caves were thresholds, place where earth opened to the divine, where visionaries received dreams, where solitude thinned the veil between worlds. The Hermitage of Depedale thus holds mythic resonance. It is the womb from which the abbey was born, the hollow where heaven first touched stone. The baker's cave and the abbey arch together form a dialogue across centuries, one small and hidden, the other vast and visible, one carved by hand in obedience to a dream, the other raised by cannons in glory to God. Both, however, speak of a valley chosen, set apart, consecrated. Today, walkers still pause at the cave and at the arch, sensing something still lingers. The dale is quiet, yet not empty. Its silence is thick with memory, a reminder that faith once carved itself into stone, and that from this act of devotion rose a house of God. The Hermitage and the Abbey are not two separate sites, but one story, a mythic continuum in which dream, cave, chapel, cloister, and ruin are bound together. In this valley, the earthly and the eternal touched, and through the abbey has fallen, the hermitage remains, whispering that the sacred never wholly departs.